Hello, there are 3 lords of movies that have returned. Have you ever hated the city and wanted to leave it all to a deserted island? But that place is too lonely and it's just you and a dead body. You know, if you fart you will still be there or find a way to return to the mainland. That's the main plot of the movie Swiss Army Man. The talking corpse, the lord of all kinds of movies, revealed that the unsanitary dying role was played by Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who stormed the scene with the role of Harry Potter. Long line, let's go to the movie together. The film opens with plastic scenes on the sea with detailed words. The main character is him wearing a simple striped shirt. His face and hair are like Robinson's on a deserted island. Is he hanging himself? Is there any mistake? At the beginning of the movie, the character dies. What should I watch? God has been using it for a long time but still has not definitively died. The guy saw a person lying on the beach, curious and excited. He was about to run back, but oh well, the rope around his neck was getting tighter. Now he's about to die for real before he jumps down. Okay, the guy fell on the sand and coughed. He approached the other man, repeatedly calling him. He was awake and breathing in his chest, but the result seemed to be wrong or heard some strange sound. He immediately approached the lower part of the stranger. Oh my gosh, I'm unconscious but farting. He blankly sat down on the beach next to the other guy and kept mumbling, "It's funny, it's really funny." He just sat and talked to himself about his pastime. The camera flashed to the past scene. He was sitting on the bus wearing a headset and thinking out the window. The more enthusiastic he was with his new friend, the louder the series of sounds he made. He went to pull out his belt to extending his own hanging rope or ringing in his throat, the melody of a song or something, but the other director getting louder and louder. How could he concentrate and die from afar? He saw his friend as if he was struggling on the surface of the water and drifted away. Ton decided to untie himself from the hanging rope and move closer to his new friend. He seemed to be moving forward and decided to change. We followed the new friend who sat on his back. Both of them dashed across the sea. Leaving the deserted island looks like a horse riding on the sea. The horse here is replaced by a carcass with terrible reduction in force. The other guy opened his eyes or got excited, raised his arms high, and both lost their balance so that they fell into the sea or washed up on the beach. He slowly opened his eyes to greet him as a packet of instant food, peeled and eaten, suddenly realized he had returned to the mainland. He shouted with excitement like a madman, running around discovering new places or remembering his benefactor. His own. He continued his talk alone. He did not understand that the miracle was made by the corpse or by the soul that impacted the phone, which had a sound wave that continuously emitted the phone wallpaper. As a girl, he and the other guy sat facing each other on the beach. He said, apologized and left, but then on second thought, he dragged his new friend heavily on the street. He called for help but no one was here. He carried the fart on his shoulder. It kept coming out as he walked. He talked to ease the boredom. He went into the forest too tired. He put the other guy down, saw the pile left by someone's leftovers. Come see if there's anything we can use. It's already dark. Both of them stay in the cave, sipping rainwater and drinking continuously. It's hard to sleep in the cave. Or raise your voice and talk to the silent person. The lyrics are only full of self-pity. Want to get out of here or wake up to find a wild animal groping to stop his friend. He runs after him and stumbles or gets angry again and wants to leave. The water flows or comes back from the friend's mouth. The water flows non-stop or doesn't have to take a cup and drink it. The more the stick presses on the chest of the friend, the more water comes out like a stream. Or think of a mini name to give your friend. His eyes widen or put his hand in his mouth to make a nod of his head. Just like that, or talk to himself and still feel excited because he has a natural companion. Many speaks again to be too scared and slaps you a fear of leaving. But then he also put aside his fear and approached many. He spoke each word with great difficulty. He rushed to apologize for speaking badly and was about to leave him to try to bring up his mother's memory. But it takes patience for him to remember that the day Minnie ate the food in the package to evoke the most memories, but to no avail. Try to teach me word by word like life's trash, but the more I realize, the more I try to explain, the more ridiculous it becomes, especially when I try to explain the importance of daily defecation, becoming increasingly Minnie. Despairing of himself, he still respects him and explains that perhaps he is special and can save everyone in the process. He tried to explain everything to the Mani. I feel like the king is relieved. You also gradually understand the behavior better, even saying everything you think in your head, and the two are still arguing. Onion went into the forest trying to hold up the phone to get a signal to call for help. 5A magazine with a picture of a hot girl. Both lonely men talking about discovering women's bodies. The more they talked about girl, the lower part of the Mini is too scared to stand because it is constantly stirring in the peony shop, standing up and shouting. Oh, the fart story in this movie that can bring people back to the mainland still can't be as weird. The erecting of the Mini's male body acts as a compass indicating the direction of Mini's success on the mattress and pulls away. And he kept rambling about wanting to carry because of the influence of the magazine, and often talked about the time when he was going through puberty. He often heard his father complain about not thinking too much about sex because it will shorten his life. The two of them were carrying each other in the forest. They stepped on the dung of a large animal. They fell down at that moment. His phone rang and the beast screamed in fear. The Omani patted his shoulder to calm down, then both of them slipped. Rolling down the cliff below, the menu saw the image of a girl on his phone screen and his lower part stood up again. X decided to turn off the phone to save battery power, pretending to be a girl so that many can recall the memory of both of them making jokes at the same time. Very funny. Onion shaved his beard and pretended to be a girl again, but this time he was prettier than before. Minnie is holding up her phone to take a picture of the two of them talking like lovers, but the more he wants her to be polite, the more rude she is to say everything. He thinks like he wants to kiss and have sex. He also creates a bus scene or attaches some string to the Minnie's ears to pretend to be headphones, and the guy still sings non-stop, pulling pictures with his hands that look like scenery. The bus glides through all the space scenes as if it's lit up, and there's a girl in the imagination who appears as a yogi with the hair on the back of his neck and a fear of wet hands on the Minnie forehead to create a realistic feeling. But I dared not come and talk to the girl in my imagination. Both are sad because I don't know how to flirt or put glasses on Minnie to make him look more mysterious and attractive. He brought the main closer to the girl, and of course the actor was good at both chatting in a romantic situation, sharing headphones, both holding hands and looking at each other passionately. Sarah is the girl you remember, both having a crazy dance in the cave. Next to the blazing fire, in both handsome and energetic, the two still did not forget to create a dating scene between Minnie and Sarah. They watch movies and eat popcorn together. During the day, the two continued to go on the road, so the Minnie also helped a lot in shooting birds, making food and entertaining, throwing stones on the lake. Both ate, drank and played happily. They have fun moments together. Both of them create dummies to enjoy their games, both a bit drunk so it's a bit confusing, or Sarah back to start the company across the bridge looks very hazardous. Below was the rushing water. His hand touched his wife's rod and they both slid down and they were suspended. Said he was starting to feel scared that the rope wasn't certain of them falling into the water. Flashes of memories flashed through her mind, trying to save many of them, both of them kissing and smiling contentedly. They floated to the surface with the hugging position, but the Minnie's fart helped them both fly high, but the slogan for romance was to drag them to the bridge. The two were still smiling non-stop. The two confided in the night. This is the story about his father and by extension, how to love each other in the family. When he was going to the bathroom, he saw a car passing through the phone line. At that time there was a signal where he recognized a message from his father, wished him a happy birthday or told his mother the truth that the phone with his girlfriend's picture was his. And Sarah was just the girl he used to meet on the bus. At that moment, a bear was growling. Two people confirmed to use the power of Minnie to attack. At that moment, you see a picture of Sulla with her lover. Really, you can't promote the power of shopping. Both were attacked by bears. Both of them quickly lay down. He used his strength to kick the bear, but it gnawed his feet and spilled his blood. He chased the bear with a fire torch. Going up, suddenly daring him to work, the fire rose high so that they went up in the air. Both eyes on the branch seemed to have remembered something. He cried continuously like a child panicking in a jumble of overlapping thoughts. It seemed he was out of control of the situation. Both of them imagined that they would die or fall to the ground. The bear dragged him and I only knew on the branch saying sorry. Mendy's hand moved, he fell and started to show his special ability. The seal felt scared, let go of the onion and walked away. Me crawled closer. He tried his best as if he would never give up. Minnie touched the fire with his hands. He became a living torch. The bear was really scared to leave, and he tried his best to put out the fire for you. He opened his eyes and was surprised that Minnie was the one to carry him. Both of them were coming in front of Sarah Minnie's house trying to get in, and he was avoiding it, so he kept saying he couldn't keep his composure and raised his fist to punch his friend. Both of them struggled to argue and say things that feel inhibited or inferior to each other. A little girl greets two people and misunderstands that they are wearing Halloween costumes. The two stood up and hugged each other close and tried to explain to the child the water meninos in front of the child. Hearing a cry from afar, they talked to each other, blinked a few sentences and doubted each other. I felt that Sarah looked at him strangely and he was so sad that he cried because of it. Sarah brings water to two people in her imagination that often remembers the silhouette of Sarah. The police came to take the Minnie's body away. A man was called to collect the Minnie body, but he refused to open the curtain and followed the man who looked at him unsteadily as he opened the car door. The police showed Sarah the pictures on the phone or on television and introduced about Minnie's body. He said, he saved me with that body. You go and open the body bag and Mamani. Even if his father stopped him, he didn't care. The Mini's body slid down the slope of the forest, the bar rose up to make a love position and both of them dived, they fell into the water or screamed, not wanting them to put the Mini in the morgue with an unknown name. Everyone went to the forest so both of them made a dummy and the onion bus pulled Mini to the city beach to chat with the corpse to everyone's surprise, then suddenly asked about what she was looking at. See, act Mini get up and say. Both of them did it together. The police thought he was crazy and handcuffed him at that moment when he farted. Spinia was still glaring at the shore or being carried away by people, but he still looked back to expect something. Manny's corpse started farting continuously or looked back at his father, both understood each other's intentions or turned towards the beach where many were waiting, he said into Tarmani, something the corpse drifted further and further away from the face. Me smiled in the water, and he also smiled goodbye to the movie closing the dark screen. That's it, you're done with the Lord of all kinds of movies. Watch this extraordinary movie. If you find this video interesting, please like, comment, share to support the Lord of the Movies and don't forget to press follow to follow more upcoming movies. Say hello and see you in the next videos from the Lord of the Movies.